Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am BK and this is BK Says. Well, I got a couple of emails from people asking about what life will be in camp for someone who's physically challenged, and I happened to meet this incredible lady at my place of primary assignment. She's strong and she's the real definition of your disability is not inability. She went to NYSC camp in another state unaided, and she has decided to share her NYSC story with us today.
I am Chima Dike, 2017 bad beat stream 2 core member. Being physically challenged didn't stop me. This is my NYSC story.
Satan. The internet yaki felagi. Apa chumare chupago.
It's called Charcot tooth disease, CMT. And it is characterized by weakness of the muscles. So, and you know, it starts at an early stage for some people, and then for others it just starts when they have probably grown up to some extent. Because I used to walk, I grew up walking, and somewhere around age 9, we just noticed some unusual walking and falling, and that's when the hospital journeys began. And as the years went by, it got worse and worse, and we're here.
So you're here to tell us about your NYSC experience. Personally, I find it very brave that you decided to go through with the whole process, the whole 9 yards. So what is your experience? Tell us all about it, from your registration, your posting, and how did your folks take it?
Okay, the registration aspect, my dad actually thought, oh, she's just going to register, she probably won't go, but then I registered. I picked 2 northern states, one from the west and one from the south. So I was actually praying. I told myself, anywhere God wants to take me, I'm ready to go there, even if it's far north. And my dad was actually hoping that it would be River State, because River State was one of my options. And he was also hoping that they'll probably consider that, oh, I feel that I'm physically challenged, and send me to a state close by, But it didn't work out that way. I was actually praying that no, it wouldn't work out the way he wanted it. So after the registration came the posting, and I called my dad and I was like, posting is out. I was posted to Taraba, and he's like, no, you're not going anywhere. Just relax. But fortunately, as God will have it, it turned out that we were to camp in Benue State. So I told him, oh, but hey, we're camping in Benue, and he's like, okay, we'll talk about it when I get back. And he got back, we talked about it, and that was when people started coming to say, oh, don't let her go, she's not going to cope, don't let her go alone. And others were like, let her go with somebody, that could help her, someone to, help her do the registration. Okay, particularly my elder sister. They wanted my elder sister to go with me, so I could do the registration and come back after one day. And I told my elder sister, I was like, see, if you go with me, I'll deny you at the gate. I'll tell them I don't know you. I told them I'm the core member, I'm the one with the posting letter, so they'll probably not know who you are, and I'll deny you, and you won't be able to enter. Well, at that point, my dad and I, we stopped talking to each other. We were not friends, because he wanted something different for me, I wanted something different for myself. I really wanted to go there, alone. I realized that I was giving my dad so much concern, and I didn't have a plan. I didn't know how it was all going to play out, so I decided to call a friend who is physically challenged, and I know she has served, So I called her, and she told me her own NYSC story. But then I summoned courage, and I'm like, okay, mine will not probably turn out the way hers turned out, but I'm ready to do this. What's the worst that will happen? Probably ill treatments, which is not a new thing. So I was ready to go through it all, and I did. I graduated about 3 years ago, and while waiting for service, I was at home doing nothing. And it turned out that, oh, finally it was time to serve. And I'm like, what am I doing at home? nothing. So why not just go to camp, get the experience, you know, so you can tell your story. And that's when I realized I wanted to go into the talk, presenting, writing thing, and I'm like, okay, here's OBS calling you, so let's go do it. And I decided to go. The day I left Imo State, it was like my whole family took me to the park. They wanted to make sure everything was fine, you know. And it was a corpus bus. So I got into the bus, not knowing a soul, not knowing anyone in the bus. And okay, there was this big guy that was sitting beside me, and we were all going to the camp together. So I started gisting with him. Immediately the bus took off. You know, we started talking, and before we even got to Anambra State, we had, I don't know, connected on some level. Yeah, so he became my first friend, my first NYSC friend. So, and somewhere around Onitsha, where we stopped to fix the brake of the bus, there was this girl that just came out from the bus and was like, oh, I know you. And I'm like, you know me? I don't know you. And then she told me we attended the same school, told me she used to see me going for lectures and all. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is your department. Yeah, okay, I think I know your department. I know some people there and all. And she introduced herself to me, told me her name was Oge. And that was my second friend. So we embarked on our journey after all the stops and everything. We got to camp sometime around 8 p.m. 7:30, 8 p.m. and I'm getting to the gate of the camp. The soldiers there stopped the bus and told everyone to come down and take their loads, carry their loads inside, trek with their loads inside. So the driver of the bus, he came down and tried to explain to the soldiers that hey, I have someone like this in my bus and all. And the soldiers were like, okay, fine, you can take her in, you can drive her in, but just her. And you know, they actually allowed us go that way. And then the driver drove to the second gate, and after explaining to them again, they gave us someone to escort us, kind of to tell the driver where to drop me and to assist me with my registration. I had to go with my wheelchair because there's no other way. So the guy helped me. He happened to be a civil defense guy. I didn't know that initially. I just thought he was just some random guy because he wasn't putting on his uniform. So I didn't know if to call him sir, or, you know. But he helped me do the registration. Oh my God, when I came down from the bus, I saw the ground. I wanted to enter inside. I needed the ground to swallow me at that point because it was so stony, rocky, whatever. It's not something any wheelchair user would, you know, it's not a place any wheelchair user would want to go to. And I was like, okay, God, are you sure I can do this for the next 3 weeks? I was already beginning to think about my dad's idea of going to register and coming back after a day. So finally, the guy helped me to do my registration that night, helped me to get a bunk, a mattress, helped me to arrange the mattress, my mosquito net and everything, and then he left. He gave me his number, told me if I needed his help I could call him. And then, whoa, it dawned on me that, oh hey Cheemah, you're in camp and you are alone, so this is life now. And I'm like, okay, how do we do it? I was just, you know, being slow about everything because I didn't even know how to go about it. And then while I was there thinking about my life, someone passed me and was like, oh, you're here, I've been, you know, looking for you. And it turned out to be Oge. And I told her, oh, this is where I ended up. And she told me, okay, my bed is just somewhere behind. If you need me, you can call me. And I said, okay. That's how that night ended. The next morning, I had to call Oge to come help me get to the bathroom so I could take my bath. And Oge came and said, oh, everywhere is kind of, you know, jam-packed, so I will take you to the bathroom on my back. And I was like, are you sure you can do this? She said, no, don't worry, I can do it. And she carried me to the bathroom. When I got there, I'm like, no, hell no, there's no way I'm putting my leg in this place. And so I ended up bathing outside the bathroom. I had to bathe quickly. So after that, Oge carried me back in. And I was like, God, is this what we're going to do for the next 3 weeks? Oh well. I finally decided in my mind that, okay, come with me, no matter what happens, we'll stay. We've seen the bad road, we've seen the bathroom, we've seen the hostel and all. Let's see how it goes. And I did that having just 2 friends. A guy who I obviously couldn't see because he was in the boys' hostel. I only saw him on some days during the parade, you know. And so with time, I made new friends, you know, gradually. I used to, every morning when I wake up, I used to wash my canvas myself. I brought my own canvas from home, my size, my spec. So I used to wash it every morning. And then there was this girl who was just adjacent my bed. And one day she came, sat on my bed, told me she wanted to ask me some questions if I didn't mind, and I said okay. And she told me she had been watching me every morning from her bed, how I usually washed my canvas and all, and she decided to approach me and say hi and be my friend, and you know, and that's how we became friends. Her name is Mercy. So Mercy turned out to be my, I don't know, my God sent help, because I know that was my #1 prayer point when I was living in Imo State. I told God, just put people in place for me. You know, I don't know how this is all going to turn out, but it has to turn out for my good and for your glory. Just put people in place for me, and it turned out that way. So Mercy helped me every morning to take my bath, along with Oge and one other girl who I happened to meet, Oluchi. So they all helped me out. So every morning I just ease myself when I'm taking my bath, and the next time I ease myself will be the next morning when I'm taking my bath, or when I come back to the hostel and I feel like I'm pressed. Okay, I dreaded going to the toilet in #2. Like I was familiar with doing #1, but #2, I was already telling Mercy that, oh hey, I haven't got to the toilet since I came here, and I don't want to begin to imagine how it's going to be. And then one morning it happened. Okay, everyone had gone out for the 5 a.m. morning drill, you know, and I didn't used to go for it, so I was just in the hostel on my bed. And then it came, and I brought out my bucket from under my bed. You know, I'm like, okay, yeah, Cheemah, you can do this, just help yourself, you know. And I sat on the bucket. After doing all I needed to do, to get up from the bucket was a problem. You know, I was on that bucket. I started praying. I was like, oh God, please send me someone. Like, I have to get up from this bucket before they all come back to the hostel. I don't want this place to be all smelly and all. Oh, hey, I took my air freshener to camp. I had to, because I already figured that, oh, when I use the toilet in the hostel, everyone will probably be smelly, so I'll spray it. But then, after praying, I started hearing some voices in the hostel, and then something crazy happened. I started shouting, help! I need help! And someone came. I was like, okay, what's the problem? I'm like, I need help to get up from this bucket. I've just finished using the toilet. She was like, okay, let me see if I can get somebody to help me. And then she got this woman who happened to be the mother of a corps member, who is a nursing mother. So she and the woman came to help me. And then one thing about helping people who are physically challenged or people who use wheelchairs, you have to do it the way they want you to do it. Because if I say do it this way, that's probably how I've been doing it before now. And not everyone who is physically challenged can be helped the same way, because we don't all have the same problems. So I told this woman, okay, this is how you help me. Use your arm, not your hand. And she's like, okay. And then it turned out that she used her hands. So to draw me up from the bucket was a problem, because she wasn't using her arm. After trying to help me stand. I hadn't even stood. She got tired because she's an elderly woman, and she said, "Oh, I'm not sure I can do this." And I was like, "Okay, just put me back on the bucket." And she put me on the bucket, and I was like, "Okay, if you see any other person, you know, just tell the person so the person can come help me and all that." And she was like, "Okay." So I was still on the bucket, praying again for another answer to my prayer, and then I heard the other girl telling someone that had just come into the hotel. She was like, "Oh, there's someone down there who needs help. Maybe you can go help her out." And in my mind, I was like, why would they send me only one person? 2 people tried to help me the first time and it didn't work out, and now you guys are sending me just one person to help me. And I was like, okay, fine. The girl came, and I always have this thing I do. I have to think out ways, you know, to help myself one way or the other. And I was like, okay, since the first way didn't work for the woman, I thought of an alternative way. And then I told the girl, okay, this is how you help me. I had to kneel instead of standing. And the girl asked me for my tissue and a wipe so she could help clean me up. And I gave them to her. She helped me, you know. And I was like, okay, she's done enough already. I told her, don't worry, just leave the bucket. And I put the bucket back under my bed. And I sat down. Everything was finally over. And then I sat down on the bed and I waited for Mercy to tell her my story. And then when she came back, I was like, Mercy, it finally happened. She sat down and she was like, gist me. And I told her everything. She asked, where is it? I said, it's under my bed. And then she said, oh yeah, bring it out. Let me go and, you know, pour it away for you. Yeah, she was that good. So no, it wasn't really a bad experience. It was just one of those experiences. Well, okay, a lot of people were like, oh, you came, when are you leaving? And I'm like, when camp is over. You're going to stay for 3 weeks. Yes, I am. You know, they couldn't believe that I was going to stay. A lot of people came with medical reports, those who had accidents, those who just didn't want to stay on camp, you know. And they expected me to do the same thing. Everyone was like, okay, majority of the people were like, if it was me, I won't stay to the end. And I'm like, well, I can't leave all the way from Imo State to Kogi State and come and, you know, just go after a day or 2 or 3. You know, I'm like, I'm here to stay till the end. And some people were like, you better go and redeploy and go back home. You know, I'm not sure you can cope with the stress. I had already made up my mind from home, so no, they couldn't stop me. And those who were looking at me, oh, somebody physically challenged. Oh, we're used to that right now. I mean, we've been here for so long, so we're used to it. I had to. Kogi State was because there was crisis in Benue, and so, you know, that meant that after all the camping exercise, I would definitely have to go to Taraba State. My PPA would be in Taraba, and I'm like, no, I'm not sure I can do this particular one. You know, I don't want to stress anybody more than I have already stressed them these 3 weeks. Okay, I know you're physically challenged, I'm physically challenged. The way it turned out for me might not be the way it will turn out for you. And that you use a wheelchair and I use a wheelchair doesn't mean we have the same illness. We probably don't go through the same things. This is my NYSC story, and if you're physically challenged out there, you think it can't be done, it definitely can. If you feel you want to do it. You're a human, just like everyone else. You're just different. So just go do your NYSC in a different way.
When I passing out?
Yay! Passing out next month. I cannot wait.
I was able to join the ODS, being one of the top reasons for me going to camp, and I joined them as an editor and a presenter. And I was also able to act drama for my platoon, something I haven't done in years. It was definitely an out of my comfort zone experience for me.